today's episode sparks any new ideas in you, please hit follow and leave a quick review for me. So I read every single one, and it helps us to get more eyes on all this great conversation we're having. On to the episode. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Purpose-Driven Progress. As always, I am your host, Jacob Hicks. And you guys, I got to tell you, I'm super excited for you guys to be my guest today. He's an innovator. He's an inventor. He's got a ton of cool stuff on his resume. But let me tell you a little bit more about him. So from NASA to viral entrepreneur, Jacob Kirstein's journey is anything but ordinary. He started as an engineer at SpaceX and NASA, working on launch pads and satellites. But his true calling came when he dove into product innovation. After multiple failed attempts, he struck gold with vacuum-insulated cosmetic containers, only to face a $7,000 pre-sale scam that nearly ended it all. Instead of folding, he doubled, turning his idea into a 50,000 order thriving business. In this episode, we break down the risks, resilience, and relentless pursuit of innovation. Jacob, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're really stoked to have you. So, before we get into all the cool stuff you've been doing, I mean, tell us a little bit more about you. We kind of covered it in the intro, but I mean, how did you go from, NASA and SpaceX engineering to cosmetic containers?
Yeah, it's quite the jump, and I get that question a lot. So, I was studying aerospace at UCF, started in 2014, and pretty much since my freshman year, because I learned how to 3D print in high school, I was always trying to create something that I could sell and kind of become my own boss. So throughout college, worked on a bunch of different inventions. Friends would pitch me ideas. I'd come up with my own ideas, try to 3D print them. Never really got anything going. And then right out of college, I was offered an internship at NASA. So I took that. Obviously, that's like the dream engineer for aerospace. Yeah. That's a dream job for an aerospace engineer. And a friend called me and was like, hey, some girl at dinner was saying your chapstick always melts. Is there any way you can make a Yeti for chapstick? And I honestly didn't use chapstick at the time. Now I do a little bit more just because, I have my own brand of it.
You have to.
Of course, yeah. But I asked my fiance, then girlfriend, if she thought it was a good idea. She was like, oh my God, you have to do that. That could be a $1 million brand. So I was like, okay, let's see what the market thinks. And I 3D printed a version of Chappy and spray painted it, super rudimentary, and posted it on TikTok. And the response, it went viral. It got 100,000 views almost instantly, like the next day. So I knew I had something. I knew there was something there that the market wanted. And now I was kind of a step ahead of where I had been over the last 5 years. I had a product that someone wanted. So I got very excited, and over the next few years, worked on putting it into production.
I love it, man. That's so cool, man. Like, help me understand a little bit better, because I don't know if this will surprise you or not, but I've never really used cosmetic containers too much. So, like, what really differentiates yours from like everything else on the shelf?
Yeah, so the whole concept behind Chappy is it will prevent lip balm. It started with just a lip balm size container. So it's vacuum insulated, it's stainless steel, just like a Yeti cup. And a lot of people leave their lip balm in the car and it ends up melting.
Guilty.
So this is the solution of that. Now you can leave your lip balm in the car. Granted, in desert areas and Florida peak summer, sometimes it can be a little too hot. So we're careful with the disclaimer. Like, it's not invincible, but it does help a lot. And that's the main solution that it provides, is now people can have lip balm in their car, which is a huge thing during the summer. And then we made 5 different cases, basically just scaled up the design to bigger tubes and boxes. And now, girls have tons of makeup that they want to leave in their car. And now they can keep it in the Chappy Pro, which is like a lunchbox size Chappy. And it's not just for the car, it's for, whether you're going on a hike or you put your lip balm in your pocket and forget about it. And then you put your clothes in the wash, goes through the dryer, destroys your clothes. Chappy OG and Chappy Plus are leak proof, so it prevents against that. A lot of people that live in cold states report their chapstick melting just in their pocket from body heat, prevents against that. Beach days, another huge thing we hear from our customers. So that's the main edge of our makeup containers.
I love it, man. Well, it's such an interesting idea. But one thing I really wanted to ask you, because again, we kind of talked about already where you started at NASA and SpaceX, and now you're in something very, very, very different, right? So what personal mindset shifts really helped push you through some of this? Imagine there's been a lot of uncertainty and then setbacks like we mentioned in the intro.
Yeah. So it's a big mindset shift from engineering to e-comm, but you can take some of the principles with you, like data analysis. You're looking at the ads manager, which ad creative is working, what's the click-through rate, what's the conversion rate, what's the ROAS, return on ad spend. And so I do like that part of e-comm where you can look at all the analytics and dial in your ads and your website to kind of follow human behavior. It's one of the big differences between engineering and e-comm is, business is human to human. It's not super predictable. There's not foundational rules that you can follow like there is with engineering or physics. Like in physics, A equals B. Business isn't so simple. So it is quite the mind shift there.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I want to dive a little more deeper into the scam originally that you guys brought. I'm sure you get the question all the time, but I mean, kind of walk us through. Like, you had this viral thing go off on TikTok. You decided to sell it a bunch. You get this big scam that comes through and nearly kind of folds things in half, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. If I hadn't been trying to create a business for like 5 years before I launched this, I probably would have given up. But the story of the scam is the TikTok goes viral. I know I have a product. I launch a Shopify, I launch ads, basically just reusing the TikTok. And I start gathering pre-sale money. I have a little bit that I've saved up. I'm only a year or two out of college. And kind of building up the bank account to go into production. And I'm talking to this manufacturer for 5-6 months about the design because the design was super hard to make. Everyone who made vacuum insulated cups or mugs couldn't make one that was this small. And it has something to do with the bend radius of the Chappy is so small that the steel just wants to rupture. So a lot of manufacturers tried and were like, hey, we can't do it. Finally, someone was like, we can do it, sending me pictures. They're getting closer. And they're like, all right, to do it right, we need $7,000 and we can make the right molds and production resources so that we can make like 1,000 units for you. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna send the $7,000. We've been talking for months. What could go wrong? At this time, for some reason, production contracts was not something that I really thought of.
Yep.
And a scam was really not crossing my mind at the time. So I send the 7,000 and email them a few weeks later. I'm like, how's it going? And they're like, it's going. And I'm like, okay, can you send some pictures? And they're like, yeah, as soon as it's ready. A few weeks later, I'm like, hey, my customers are expecting it. Like, what's going on? Do you have a sample yet? They're like, we're working on it. I think like another month goes by. And I'm like, guys, what is going on?
Yeah.
And they say, we're working on it. And I'm like, something is wrong. There's no way that they're working on it for 2 months, no progress, no pictures. So I end up like really examining the emails. I'm not totally sure how I figured it out, but the email of the manufacturer I was talking to changed by one letter. So at some point I was talking to like manufacturer@gmail.com and it was like manufacturer spelled like one letter off at gmail.com. And it was all in the same thread. The thread never changed. So I don't know exactly how it happened, but at that point I realized something, like I've been scammed probably. I'm not getting this money back. My customers are going to freak out. And now I got to determine what my next steps are. So I had two options. I could refund all the pre-order money, lose my life savings, wrap it up, say, I'm done. I tried, didn't work. And the other option was put my life savings into another manufacturer and hopefully not get scammed twice. So I sent the design to, at first I was using Alibaba. The second website I used, I wish I could shout them out. I don't remember the website name, but it was like findyourmanufacturer.com, something like that. I sent out the design to hundreds of manufacturers and kind of told my story like, hey, I'm not sending any money until you prove that you can make a sample. And one manufacturer was like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I want to show you that, you can do business in China and trust Chinese people. And they sent me a sample for free in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this is a huge difference. So at that point, I drew up like a 10-page contract and we signed it, and they've been my partner ever since. And they have really, really been a strategic partner for me, not just a manufacturer, helping create new products and just really great people. So I'm very grateful for their cooperation. That's Half Cup Co. And so with the lost money, I ended up filing reports with the FBI, the FTC, my bank, the Chinese bank, the intermediary bank. And